Welcome to this RSK3 SPSS assignment. My name is Maurice Penman. And my student number is 330367. Let's start with the table of contents. This is what I will be dealing with in this assignment, as you can read. Here are the research questions that we will be dealing with today. There are 3 different research questions. The first 2 will be dealt with in a quantitative way, and the third one will be dealt with in a qualitative way by using primary research. Literature review: 5 articles have been used. This is the first one, as a population of 203 participants, and actually showed that there were not many or no significant differences between the males and females. These are the articles number 2 and 3. Also here, there were no big differences in relation to gender. However, the second article or the third article mentions that that women are more likely to use the dependent style, but this is more based on stereotyping than on real facts. Here we have the fourth and the fifth, and also the last article. Also here, no relationship with gender was observed. So yeah, I think that's the most important thing to mention for these articles. Research design: I've decided to use the research onion because it gives a nice foundation for the research. Philosophy uses the pragmatism approach, deductive, inductive, as I mentioned. Both approaches will be used, so you could call it a mixed method approach. Survey is of course quantitative, interviews is qualitative, and of course a cross-sectional time horizon because there's only limited time available. Then we go to the sample and sampling technique. For the quantitative data, random probability sampling is used, and for the qualitative data, purposive sampling is used. Total population is, our total sample is 142 participants. 57% of those participants were males and 43% females. Interviews are semi-structured, and the survey was adapted from Scott and Bruce research from 1995. Data collection procedure: I have interviewed 2 people, Jason van Heiningen and André van der Kevy, both Dutch. Jason is a student, and André is actually a branch manager at a logistics company. And actually, both they're quite interesting people to talk to. These are the interview questions that I have asked. Actually, there are 8 interview questions, and they're relevant to answer the research question. Data analysis: 2 different programs have been used. SPSS for the statistical analysis and for questions 1 and 2, and Atlas-TI 8 for the analysis of the interviews for the primary research. Then we come to the validity and reliability of the first 2 questions. I've been checking the validity and reliability by using the Chromebox Alpha. The rule is that the scores of the Chromebox Alpha should be higher than 0.65. Because then it's considered acceptable. As you can see here, most of them, or actually some of them are higher than 0.65, but also some of them are lower. And actually, the ones that are lower than 0.65, the reliability could be questioned. And when we take a look at the findings for question number 1, is there a gender difference regarding business student decision-making styles, and namely rational, dependent, intuitive, spontaneous, and avoidant? In order to analyze this, I have used an independent sample t-test, where I calculated the mean. You can see F and M, female, male. You can see that the means are quite close together from the females and males. And when you look at the range of the p-value, you can identify the level of in order to identify the answer for the hypothesis. We can see that the p-value, when the p-value is lower than 0.05, the nil hypothesis is accepted. I have used a range of p-values in order to identify this, and I only saw that there are 4 questions that actually were lower than 0.05 in terms of p-value, which means that there are only 4 questions that should accept the hypothesis. However, 4 out of 25 questions still means that the nil hypothesis is accepted. So there is no gender difference regarding business students' decision-making styles. So the 0 hypothesis or nil hypothesis is accepted in this case. And when we take a look at the second question, is there a relationship between business students' decision-making styles and their business experiences? I have analyzed this by using the ANOVA test. Also here, the same rule applies as for the previous research. When the value is lower than 0.05, there's no significant difference. In this case, you can see there's no value from the ANOVA test lower than 0.05, which means there's no significant difference. So there's no significant difference in the students' decision-making styles and their business experiences. So the nil hypothesis is accepted. Findings, when we take a look at question number 3, as I mentioned before, I've interviewed 2 people, Jason and Andre, and I've actually written down some quotes here, and as you can see, I've highlighted 2 important factors that play a role that negatively influence the decision making from the management of the internship company. The red one, is about client pressure, and the blue one is about communication with employees. Well, here you have a short overview. Actually, both participants mentioned different factors. However, the client pressure and the communication with other employees were mentioned by both participants. So yeah, that is actually defined. Those are the findings, and as I already mentioned, this was analyzed with Atlas TI. So then we come to the conclusion. The results are in line with the previous research, that there is no significant relationship between gender and decision-making styles, and there's no gender difference regarding, or there's no difference regarding gender, or no relationship regarding gender and business students' decision-making styles. And for question 3, client pressure and communication, they turn out to be both factors that negatively influence the decision-making of the management of the internship companies where the participants have worked. So that was it.